All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your lunch. From ideas to implementation, the city of Espoo in Finland has created an inspiring model for how esports, gaming, and gamification can actually promote physical activity and social engagement. Joining us now are two incredible innovators who will share how Espoo's approach is helping people move more, play more, and connect through game. Please join me in welcoming our speakers from the city of Espoo, Una Koluva, Project Planning Officer, and Kimmo Leinonen. Big round of applause.
Hello everybody, 안녕하세요 to all. And better? Okay, good. It's an honor to be here and I'll be going through our city's initiative around esports, gamification and digitalization of sports. And we can start from the beginning. Oh. It's not working. A technical pause.
As we pause to figure out our slide situation, I'd like to invite you guys to all think of very riveting questions to ask, because later on, as soon as this discussion is over, we're going to open up the floor for questions. So as we listen to our speakers from Espoo, please think of some questions that you'd like to ask them.
Let's try.
All right. How about I start with a question? Can you please teach us how to pronounce your names?
Oh, yes, it's quite easy. I'm Kimmo Leinonen. Your turn.
Amazing.
Yeah, but it's, yeah.
And my name is Oona Koivula. So double O. O-O-N-A.
Oona.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Perfect.
Okay, so let's go with the old-fashioned way. Okay, next slide. So this is what we'll be going through today in the next 20 minutes. Shortly, something little about us. Where did we begin as a city? What have we done in the past years and where we are heading next? Next slide. So, and next slide. And this is basically shortly about us. Next slide. Oh yeah, and that's me, as you can see. And shortly about me, I'm an avid gamer. I started to work with the city of Espoo in 2019. I don't have a background in sports or exercise, or I'm not even that interested in the subjects. I'm really interested in esports, gaming, and digitalization of our society, and that's where most of my work is done. Next slide.
Yes, thank you and good afternoon everyone on my behalf. Also, I'm Oona Koivula, as we discussed. Perfect pronunciation. And in our team, I'm I'm working more with the digitalization of traditional sports. So Kimmo is taking over esports, for example, and I'm more on the exercise gaming.
Yeah, and next slide. And where we are from, we are from a city called Espoo, the second largest city in Finland. I'm guessing most of you don't know where Espoo is located, but it's located just in the southernmost part of Finland, next to the capital, Helsinki. And next slide. And what you can see here is a simplification of our framework we created in our previous project called Modernizing Sports to Foster a New Active Generation. We use it as a tool to help us to understand our level of competence when it comes to digitalization of sports and exercise. And if you want to learn more, previous slide. And if you want to learn more of it, because this is a simplification, you can download more information from espoo.fi or come and talk to me with later today. But as you can see, it's a three-tiered framework, and the higher you go, the more competence you need to actually have to undertake the tasks in question, like influencing national policies. You have to have a lot of knowledge, but it has to be done in the field of esports as well in the future. Next slide. And like all cities who have started to work with esports or the digitalization of sports, we also started from the bottom in 2019. Espoo started this work from the youth work department when I joined them in 2019, and we started from really rough beginnings. We didn't have any knowledge or competence when it came to gamification, esports, at all. And we used the first 2 years to get more competence and understanding of these phenomena and subjects, try to understand the local ecosystem, connect to communities, contact with companies who work in esports, and try to get the city leadership behind us to understand that esports and gaming are incredibly important phenomena we can use as a tool for betterment of the residents' lives, physical activity, hobbies, social well-being. And we were able to do it in a sense. After the 2 years, we established a fixed position for esports planning officer for the sports unit, which is still the only such position in Finland. Next slide. And from there on, the sports unit, where I and Oona work on, took the lead role in Espoo. We started to do esports-related project initiatives, events from the first day on. And one of the biggest ones that gained a lot of attention was the project called Modernizing Sport to Foster a New Active Generation, which has since ended, but is an ongoing initiative inside the city. Next slide. In the project, we went full on experimentation, pilot projects, because we only knew one thing, that we don't know anything about esports or gaming, and the city doesn't know either. We were unable to find any cities in Finland and few in Europe who had any real expertise in the phenomenon outside of major events. But we were more interested in the local grassroots activities and initiatives, the social change. And we saw no good examples of that. So we got to work, we networked, we had, previous slide. And so we got to work. We did a lot of pilots, we had thousands of residents taking part in them. The pilots varied from esports, hobby clubs, exercise gaming in schools, digitalization of swimming education for 4th and 5th graders, senior gaming, exercise gaming in senior rehabilitation, and such. Now next slide. And these are the big 3 themes that emerged from our initial project and are lasting for us in Espoo. And these are esports, exercise gaming or exergaming, and digital tools for traditional sports and exercise. And these are something we develop currently throughout the city together with other departments as well. Next slide. And in esports, we focused heavily on the player path. We wanted to be the positive force in creating a good, healthy environment for esports and gaming as a hobby. Because we saw a lot of talk about gaming being unhealthy, not safe space, not this or not that. And I think, and we think, the only way we can change that is to be part of the change. So we had multiple pilots on different type of ways of having esports as a hobby, casual gaming hobbies, and we also made a lot of effort to educate coaches and hobby instructors in the field of esports so they know how to coach kids, for example, how to work with kids, because a lot of esports organizations lack that knowledge. And we always ask ourselves, what can we as a city do to help the individual, the gamer, the player, how we can help them to achieve their dream in the field of esports or gaming. Next slide. The second theme is something we didn't really expect to be a hit, but that was exercise gaming or exergaming. What you can see here in the picture is a CSE iWall. It's a Finnish company, and the product is called iWall, and it's basically a quite simple game where with two players, you play using your body as the controller. You can dance, have dance competitions, run parkour, go kayaking, do ski jumping, whatever. And we noticed quite fast that when we put these in schools, for example, or libraries, they are really used a lot. And you can see kids there running with their friend for 3 minutes straight on a parkour track and having fun. And when you go and ask them, what are you doing currently? They always say, we are playing video games, and it's so nice to play video games in school. But they are sweating, they are exercising, they have an active time in school in the passive 15 minutes you have there. But when you ask the same question from the teachers, they view it as exercising. There you can see the difference in the point of view from the youth, how they see exercise gaming and gaming in this context to the older people. And what we have also seen, it's much more affordable in these situations to use exercise gaming technology compared to actually using a human to do instructions, for example, in recess in schools. And we found that it's roughly 67% cheaper to use exercise gaming machines. Next slide. And with exercise gaming machines, we have also done pilots and projects with the Finnish Paralympic Committee on Paralympic sports, wheelchair racing, and we built with them a wheelchair racing simulator prototype, which you can use on any wheelchair. So it shows us about the accessibility point of view of exercise gaming, and it's able to promote, for example, wheelchair racing to new markets in schools, for example. Next slide. And the third are digital tools as a massive category. But for example, one of the biggest successes we had in this was something called Hydrohex. It's a Finnish company as well. And with them, we created special content to be shown and used to help swimming teachers during swimming lessons. And this was something that was really popular, and we were able to see an 8% increase in efficiency during these swimming education lessons when this machine was used. And we are currently doing a rollout to all swimming pools in Espoo region to use this and make sure that in 3 to 5 years, all 4 to 5 grade students will use this as part of their government swimming education offered by the city. And one thing that was really good was it was language neutral, because you are able to visually see what type of movements you have to do as a child. It's much better for the teacher as well, because you don't have to stop and explain every movement to each student. They are able to see that movement they have to do more easily. Next. And these are the three themes we found in the initial project and are currently working on in our initiative. And on the field of esports, we are currently opened a new esports facility with a local club, and it has an Olympic connection because Otahalli, where it is located, was built for the Helsinki Summer Olympics in '52. So we wanted to bring the facility to somewhere where sports is heavily located and seen, and break the barriers in that way as well. We have a lot of schools and students involved in esports in high schools, vocational schools, universities, and we work with them constantly on collegiate esports tournaments, for example. And in Exagaming, Oona will be here telling shortly about Exercise Through Games project, but we have quite good results on the amount of hours we are able to produce, active exercise hours we are able to produce with exercise equipment in schools especially. And with digital tools, we are expanding the HydroHex, which we found really useful, and a couple of others to all facilities in Espoo. And we are actively seeking and going places and talking with companies, trying to find new tech to pilot. And what we found out that most companies are startled when a city employee comes to them and asks, is there anything we could try out? We have resources, we have manpower, we have anything. Is there something interesting we could try? And most of the companies, at least in Finland, have the view that cities are not good partners in innovation when it comes to sports, which I think is a shame. Next slide. And now, Oona Koivu.
Thank you so much, Kimmo. Really interesting. And my name is Oona Koivu, and I represent also the city of Espoo. And I'm here to introduce the project Exercise Through Games. We are reimagining how digitalization can support physical activity and also support learning in schools. This project is funded by the Finnish government's Get Finland Moving program, and that is aiming to reverse the trend of physical inactivity in all age groups. Our work is deeply rooted in this national strategy, but also our own way of thinking in our sports and exercise unit to make the most out of digitalization. We started this project ETG in September 2024, and it's running until the end of this year. In a nutshell, what are we doing? We are piloting digital exercise gaming solutions in all parts of education, early childhood education, basic education, as well as secondary education. And you might be already very familiar with the term exercise gaming, but here you can see the definition that we have been working with. So, it's a form of digital gaming that combines video gaming and physical activity by requiring physical effort. So basically, your body acts as the controller in most cases. We'll go forward. Next slide. Perfect, thank you. I'll start by underlining why exactly did we choose education units as our pilot environment. In our view, education units, schools, are the most important place for improving physical activity trend. Those are the only places where we meet nearly every child, almost every day, regardless of background, ability, motivation. In our project, we explore how exercise gaming can increase this everyday activity and support also the learning in school environments. So these are not traditional games, these are systems where you have to sweat and use your body. We've piloted these exercise gaming solutions in over 30 educational units in Espoo, and considering our size, that's pretty remarkable during this project. And we have been transforming passive places like hallways and lobbies into active play zones with exercise gaming. And we don't just drop off the devices there and hope for the best. Obviously, we have to educate the teachers in schools, principals. We are co-creating with the staff, and we are following up day to day on the IoT data that these machines are providing us. So for the results, we have gotten over 2,000 hours of physical activity during school hours in this project. And of course, we want to see this number growing in the following years, and that's why we have collaborated with the Tahto Center to bring exercise gaming into curriculum-based education. That works like this. They are providing all the education materials, and we have the schools with the exercise gaming solutions. And now we are combining all strengths. 100% of our pilot units want to continue the use of this technology, and I think that is pretty remarkable. Teachers, principals, and other staff agree that this is a phenomenon that is worth their time. We have been reporting increased engagement, better motivation towards schoolwork, and also even stronger peer interaction. And actually, one teacher gave me a call to let me know that pupils who are not necessarily motivated by turning in assignments have put in the effort 5 days a week to do them, to get to play exercise games for 1 hour. And importantly, we have been integrating exercise gaming into classroom learning in subjects like math and geography. Next slide, please. Yes, to finish, what are our key takeaways? First, according to data, exercise games work. That's the main thing. They are excellent for turning our passive spaces in places, like I said, hobbies, lobbies, and hallways, to create a more active place for movement without needing necessarily any organized activities or human resources. Second, you can increase their value for learning when the use is connected to teaching and the curriculum. We have multiple schools in Espoo teaching, for example, like I said, math with an interactive floor, or geography with an interactive wall to create a more meaningful learning experience. When a pilot unit was teaching their basic education students about a very, very broad geography learning module, primary school, the school pupils used digital exercise gaming to go skiing in Åre and kayaking in Latvia. Third, exercise gaming in especially basic and secondary education is generally very, very, very self-directed and impulsive behavior. So they are looking, why is there a game? Why is there a screen in our school? That's weird. We'll go play. That's exactly what we want. We want exercise gaming to be all about gaming and having fun, and the exercise comes as a byproduct. That's not our the thing that we're telling the students. We want them to be fooled. And fourth, yes, of course, we have to talk a little bit about data privacy and anonymity. We are working with underage people, so we are very, very strict that all of our devices are working with the GDPR standards and that they require no signing up, so all on anonymity. That's it. Kimmo, go ahead.
Next slide. And let's go the last two slides at a decent pace. And these were just some of the initiatives we do in Espoo in the field of esports gaming or digitalized sports. Here are some others. We host together with all the university students the collegiate League of Legends Finnish tournament and work with other tournament organizers as well. We have had 15 events in Espoo since 2019, 3 of them arena events. Before that, we had 0 for 10 years. And what we found in these events is that the people who go there say that the events are really important for their sense of community and socially for them. And in the arena events, people answered in the questionnaire that they have never been in an sports event in their lives because they felt that the offerings weren't for them. They didn't want to see ice hockey. They wanted to see Counter-Strike 2. And as a city, we have to honor that demand in some sense. We are finding new ways to utilize gaming in general. We use a lot of Minecraft, for example, in teaching UN Sustainable Development Goals. We have competitions on that in which the sports unit coordinates, i.e. I coordinate for the city of Espoo. And we are expanding the use of exergaming every year to new facilities, to new technology, to find the best solutions for us. Next slide. And what's next for us? Well, the studies show, and we all know, gaming as a phenomenon is more popular than ever. It's growing, it's not going anywhere, and we have to treat it as such. We live in the current environment we live in, and we have to work with it for a better future. And we as a city want to offer interesting, engaging, and activating digital sports and exercise activities to all residents in all walks of life. From children to seniors, offer them something in the field of digital exercise, games, gaming, esports, or digitalized sports. And the three main things we are focusing on is strengthening our competence in these three fields. And that's something that's going to be going for forever. And two, we are actively networking with companies to find new innovative solutions to test, trying to find out what residents actually want, not trying to guess what that could be. And three, now we are starting to do some influence work on national laws, international policies when it comes to esports, gaming culture, and gaming. And next slide. And that was basically that. And I want to thank you all for your attention. Kamsahamnida. And thank you all.
One more time. Kamsahamnida to Ona and Kimo. Now I know I asked you guys to think about questions for them, and I'd like you all to find them at dinner and ask them, or in our next coffee break.